if there's a rabbit that's just a little bunny sitting there, it's a complete conniption fit. Could result him just taking a shit right there. Okay,
you just never know.
You just don't know, but you'll be able to tell. We'll know what's outside by the level of.
Well, the kids tried to talk you out of getting that dog, but
no, it was their idea.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
I was the one.
All right, it's been shared to me, and it's on Brad and Britt, and we're rocking and rolling and whatnot at this point.
Right, hold on here.
Oh, people.
Okay, I think we're in business.
Ready to rock when you are.
Okay, the Brad and Britt cast is underway. Our first Brad and Britt cast for this week. We're glad you're with us here.
And you're talking to two people who have already voted. We're already done. We were already in. We've already. Yeah. I went on Saturday morning. Very easy peasy lemon squeezy. Took about 30 minutes from get to go. There were 8 people in our party. I believe we had 5 Biden voters and 3 Trump voters. So if that extrapolates across the whole state, Biden gets about 63% of the vote, something like that. So I'm happy with that. That'll work out perfectly.
All right. Well, Saturday morning, I went and did 3 hours of handing out the little blue cards that have the names of all the Democrats to people at the polls. And for those of you who are in our area, I was at the Greensboro Coliseum.
The field. That's exactly where I was. What time did you get there?
This was Saturday. I was there from 11 until 2.
I was well gone by then. I was home by about 9 o'clock. So right. I was there right there.
I was told that there were a decent number of people earlier in the morning. But it's like shopping on Saturdays. The later you go in the afternoon, the more it thins out. But most people were very, very receptive to me walking up to them, and then some people weren't.
Did you have one of those stories? Was it unpleasant?
Would you like one of these blue cards? No. No.
Well, I was very impressed with the whole process. I thought the Guilford County folks had everything under control, and we got through very quickly, and I was very happy.
Yeah, they did a good job. But you know what I think, Britt? I think you and I were at a early voting place that had the luxury of space, unlimited parking.
That's right.
No, just there were no physical barriers just because of where it was at. So I think that made it a lot easier. So
it did. It's a nice central location. Everybody knows where the Coliseum is in our town, and it was easy to find, like you said, plenty of parking. And but there's it's easy. They made it very easy. There's not a whole lot of excuses here not to vote early.
I agree. That being said, clearly Donald Trump is like a guy who was dealt the first hand, and he's got nothing in those first 5 cards. So he gives back 3, right? You give back 3. Maybe can you give back 4? I guess you give back.
You got to. I thought you had to show an ace or something like that. I thought there was some special thing if you had to do that.
Yeah, I'm not a card player. But then he picks up the next 3 or 4 cards, and he's still got nothing.
Yeah.
So 0. The only thing left to do is
bluff.
Cheat.
Bluff. We got to
bluff and cheat. Right. Bluff and cheat and lie. And we're at that point. And the whole Hunter Biden thing has been shown to be bullshit. And you can live in 2 worlds right now. You can live in the real world, where the whole Hunter Biden story is bullshit. Rudy Giuliani and Steve Bannon are the 2 guys who commiserated with Russian people to come up with bullshit, and it's just a complete. The story is bullshit. the computer left at the store is bull. It's all crap.
What is the official right-wing narrative on this laptop that has been discovered? Because I heard many things, and then I heard one guy say that perhaps there is child pornography on Hunter Biden's computer.
But see, the fact that you're saying that gives air to it.
It's all bullshit.
It doesn't matter, because then you get to then Trump gets to say to Biden Thursday night, and he will, are you a child pornographer? Do you
agree with child pornography?
He's going to do all these things, Britt. He's going there.
But it's not going to work. There. It's not going to work.
I understand that, but he's going to go there because
aside from the child porn, if there's no child, what is supposedly on this laptop? It proves the access that Joe Biden was, because I can't figure out if Hunter Biden was sleeping with the Ukrainians or the Chinese, or was it both? Because it's changed, hasn't it?
The details don't matter.
It never matters.
It's the origin of the story.
Something happened somewhere.
It's the fact that the two names that are on the story in the New York Post, the reporters did not want their names on the story.
We didn't know it
because they knew it was bullshit. It's even worse. Did you check your Mediaite, Britt?
I did. I did look at it.
Fox News said, we're not going to run it. It's too full of shit.
It's too stupid.
So they passed it off. This is Murdoch at work. They said, we can't verify enough of anything to run this on Fox News during the day. So we're going to pass it off. We'll let the New York Post run it, and then we will cover it as a story because it's in the New York Post, also owned by Rupert fucking Murdoch. It's all bullshit, okay? And I don't want to discuss, what about the, no, I'm not going there.
I would just like to know I would like to know what the bullshit story is, because you can't just do Tourette's and go, boop, laptop, boop, Hunter. There's got to be some sort of I know the thing now is that apparently Rudolph Giuliani just stays drunk 24/7, and the Russians are able to feed him any kind of bullshit they want. That apparently is what's happening in real time, right?
Yeah, so whatever details are in there are equivalent to when did you stop beating your wife? And,
in a sense,
you do not have to justify that. And
right. In a sense, you're right. I agree with you, because it just becomes Hillary's emails.
Well, that's all Trump can do, is try to recreate whatever circumstances occurred 4 years ago, and he thinks he can bring this back. It's like a football team now thinking that they can do in the Super Bowl what they did 4 years ago if they were in the game then. No, it's got to be a different game plan.
You know what?
Britt, can you name a sitcom? Where writers last more than a couple of years?
No.
Except, Larry David, it's his show. So
exactly.
In all the other writers wrote. Donald Trump has no new writers. He has no new scripts. He has no new material. It's all the same shit. But wait, it actually gets worse, because again, you live in two worlds. You either live in the world that we're in right now, that we know it's bullshit. It's not changing our vote. It's not making us think twice about Joe Biden. Well, in my case, I was going to vote for Hunter Biden. Now I'm going to vote for Joe Biden.
I was.
But other than that, it's not changing. It's not changing any votes. But the worst part of it is the fake bullshit attack on, I can't believe I'm saying this, on Twitter and on Facebook last week, because finally Facebook and Twitter, especially Facebook, largely responsible for allowing much of the bullshit 4 years ago to get through and sit up on their site and poison enough idiots out there to think that Hillary Clinton was the devil. They finally take action in the way that they really should as a whoops, are we there?
Yeah, we're here.
I'm blanking in and out on my screen. Sorry.
I'm looking good right here.
Okay. Well, you're looking as good as you can. See what I did there? But so finally, Facebook and Twitter say, all right, this New York Post story is bullshit.
Yeah.
So we're going to start blocking it. We're not going to allow mass distribution of it.
Right.
And that turns into the right-wing Republican Donald Trump conservative outrage over censorship, which as usual, we have to go back to the basics every time. Censorship is by the government telling you you can't speak or you can't publish or you can't do anything. First Amendment. Facebook and Twitter are private companies and they have the right to limit whatever they want. I've been blocked for 24 hours a couple times just for putting up a picture of Adolf Hitler next to Donald Trump and saying there might be some parallels. Boom, you're out for 24 hours. So finally, in this campaign, Facebook and Twitter and their fact checkers decide, 2.5 weeks before the election, a story like this comes out that isn't verified by any other news organization seems a little bit suspicious. We're going to put a hold on this one. Right. And the Republicans and Trump and their enablers, they act as if this is the worst assault on a person's right to speak ever. And they get away with it because Twitter and Facebook both cower because they're worried about their exemptions that they have in a certain part of the Communications Act or whatever was amended a few years ago. Or as Donald Trump at his rallies, who speaks in this indecipherable code as if everybody, the morons who were there, Section 230, it's got to go. And he just says that. He doesn't explain it, right? He does this all the time. He says these nebulous things of Section 230, you know what I mean.
What does it mean?
He does that all the time. Or Bruce Orr, that guy should be in prison forever. Who the fuck is Bruce Orr? I don't know. Is that the guy that played hockey for the Bruins? No, that was Bobby Orr.
He's the guy that jumped up in the air and scored the goal that time. I think you would have had to listen to the third hour of the Mark Levin show in order to figure out who these people are, and nobody's listening to the third hour of the fucking Mark Levin show. I'm sorry.
But the reality, he does these things, and they cheer. They clap. Yeah. Yes. So this is what a cult is. This is what happens in a dictatorship. The dictator can say anything. The dictator can lie. The dictator can assault. The dictator can do anything, and it gets applause. Mm-hmm. And I think we can read between the tea leaves here and say that Trump knows he's losing. He knows he's losing. He's desperate. And I think, though, it's honest to say he believes there is a connection between the crowds that turn out all over the country at these airports and his actual support. And he's unable to process the fact that he's losing in the polls all over the country and in swing states that he barely won the last time, and in swing states that he won fairly big the last time, and in swing states that he came really close to losing but got lucky because of Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, the third and fourth party candidates. He knows that. And his people are probably telling him that, but he has to exude confidence at these rallies. So what does he do? He just lies. He came out on Saturday, and the first thing he said in Wisconsin is, and by the way, you can check this. You can look at the Real Politics polling averages from Wisconsin. The last ones, he's down at 7 or 8 points. And first thing out of his mouth is, I can't believe we're even with this guy here in Wisconsin. We should be killing him. So every lie is based on a false premise, and they applaud because they don't know. And we're supposed to sit back and go, well, you're going to need to understand these people. You have to understand where they're coming from. We have to welcome them back into polite society if Joe Biden wins. Do we have to do it immediately? Can we wait a little while? We cannot be judgmental. That's not going to bring the country back together. No, you know what? After World War II, they didn't walk around and say to all the Nazis, we understand. Exactly welcome home. It's great to have you back. No. There is a word. I know you know it. I know you know it. It's called denazification. That's correct. Denazification, which was the grandfather of debathification during the Iraq War. Yeah, there you go. And that did not consist of you sending a postcard saying, thank you for your support for the president. It turned out that he wasn't quite the great guy that you thought he was, but welcome back into polite society. We had a slight misunderstanding. Right. Come on over. Let's have some wings. Right. Right.
That never happened.
All right. We've got a barking dog situation.
I got a dog.
We got a barking dog situation, and if it does occur, there's nothing I can do about it.
We just got to warn you. Our wrangler is not here today to take care of the dog.
Right. So,
but I will tell you that no dogs have been harmed in the making of this cast. I do agree with you in the sense that when you talk to people and they would just go, Hillary's emails, and you would go, well, what was it about Hillary's emails and what was in them? They would go, and they had no idea. Right. But all you had to say was Hillary's emails. And that's all you have to do now is like Hunter Biden, and that's all you got to say now, and it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter.
And why is that? Because Trump is out there just lying day after day. And all he has to do now is say, where's Hunter? And they scream and
what does it
all
mean?
over the place. It doesn't matter.
Who the fuck is looking for him? Who wants to know?
Yeah, because he's supposed to be out there on the campaign trail.
Yeah, I missed him. I was hoping he'd make the trip to Salisbury for that rally because I like to see Shlomo and Laura and all the Trump family on the road.
I have a mind exercise for you here because I believe on Wednesday, Barack Obama.
Yes.
There he is.
Yes. I got that cup. You got that cup for me.
Yeah. Isn't that a great cup? Made in the USA.
It's got the birth certificate on the back. Yeah.
Right.
Great.
Barack Obama's going to be out there a little bit more openly and campaigning for Joe Biden. So Trump is always looking for new opponents. His latest opponent on Monday, out in the open now, gloves are off, is Dr. Fauci.
Going after him hard. Yep.
And on Wednesday, it will be President Obama.
Yep.
Right? So what kind of racial slurs, what kind of horrible things is Trump going to dream up for President Obama? Which, by the way, I think we're fairly comfortable in saying this is definitely I'm rubber, you're glue. Everything he's saying is sticking back on him. None of this is working. And the only thing, I think I've mentioned this a few times, the only thing I can give Donald Trump 100% credit for, even if his, how should we say it, his methods, his tactics weren't exactly legal, kosher, or moral, he was right, it turns out so far, to have been very fearful of Joe Biden as being the candidate who would emerge out of the 20 or so Democrats.
And why is that, Brad? Why is that? Why was he afraid?
Well, you're seeing it right now.
Because he's the most electable one. He's not this radical leftist socialist that they tried to say, and he's all this other shit. They got nothing on the guy.
And Joe Biden, because America knows Joe Biden.
Yes.
And America, for the most part, has been comfortable with Joe Biden. Joe Biden, not perfect. None of them are. But Trump was correct in thinking it would be a good idea to try to eliminate him via a fake scandal, via the Ukrainian president announcing a bogus investigation.
That's correct.
Into him and his son, which got him impeached.
Yeah.
So that's how far he was willing to go.
He was.
To try to get rid of Joe Biden. And hopefully in 2 weeks or so, we will truly understand how right Trump was at that time. But after that, he's been wrong about everything.
That's
and
right.
He's been wrong about thinking that you could turn Joe Biden into Hillary Clinton.
Nope.
Or into
have you seen Drudge today?
Yeah.
That Hunter Biden story doesn't exist on Drudge. That Hunter Biden thing, there's nowhere to be found. He's not even relating to it in any way, shape, or form.
I think they do. I think he does link to the New York Times story saying that the reporters from the New York Post wanted to have nothing to do with the story. So that's as close as Drudge.
But it's like 3/4 of the way down the page. It's like a full, the top of the fold is all Trump sucks, Trump's down, everybody's dying, people are jumping off the ship, senators are distancing themselves from Trump. And usually at least he would have some sort of head fake toward this. Drudge is full on with Trump losing. It's very clear that Drudge feels that Trump is a dead bang loser right now, and he's not going to try to do anything to help him out whatsoever. It's been that way for a while, but he's not throwing him any lifelines at all.
Right. When I last night, sat down in front of the TV in my. It's a $9,000 Barca lounger. It does everything.
Was that a flat screen color TV that you were watching?
Flat screen color TV.
Good.
And I was watching the 60 Minutes on CBS, America's #1 network.
Yes.
And over on Fox News, they were showing Donald Trump at a rally in Arizona, and that was the only channel. None of the other news channels were showing Trump. And I thought, well, 60 Minutes is still kind of a grade A TV real estate.
Yeah.
It still is a top 10 show and still has, 10 to 12 million views. It's got a lot of viewers.
It does very
week.
Well, yeah.
And I thought, just that juxtaposition of Trump out there yakking and a TV audience insignificant in comparison versus Fauci, who has very high credibility ratings with the American public.
Big time.
Who is a scientist, a guy who's fought disease for 40 years in this country and has a pretty good track record and the respect of just about everybody in the medical community, except for Dr. Scott Atlas. I thought just that would piss off Trump, okay?
Possibly.
Because on Sunday night at 7:20 in the evening here in the East,
right,
Fauci was on 60 Minutes, completely reasonable, as good as you could get.
Mm-hmm.
And over there on Fox, Trump is railing like a madman to people out there. I think it was in Nevada, I think, yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I think it was Nevada, yeah.
Nevada. And I thought just that would piss him off. And I'm sure that's not the reason that he went nuts on Fauci on Monday morning, but I'll bet you it's part of it because he's always jealous when somebody whips his ass.
Oh, yeah.
In TV and in ratings. And you'll notice how he has been 100% silent since last Thursday. He had his ass kicked by Joe Biden, who was on a town hall with one hand tied behind his back. He was only on one channel. Trump had the advantage of 4 channels and probably foreign language Spanish, and he still couldn't total the number of viewers who were watching Biden. So he said nothing about that. But in the case of Fauci, he just lost his mind on Monday. He's an idiot. He's a loser.
Well, here's the follow-up to that, and this is the story that you were alluding to. According to multiple reports, the president thoroughly trashed the infectious disease expert as a disaster during a campaign call that happened today.
God, could you come up with some new he needs some new words to describe.
He's a loser. People are tired of hearing Fauci and all these idiots, Trump said of health officials, according to Caitlin Collins of CNN. The president went on to claim that if he'd listened to Fauci, the U.S. would have 500,000 deaths or more from the coronavirus, Brad.
I got a question. Where did you come up with the 500,000? It used to be 2 million.
It
was always 2 million.
He pulled it out of his fat ass. That's exactly where he got that number, Brad. He also seemed to be unconcerned about his comments being made public. If there's a reporter on, you can just you can have it just the way I said it. I could not care less, Trump said, according to Collins.
Right.
Trump also openly speculated about firing Fauci, Brad, but was concerned about the potential fallout, noting there's always a bomb when Fauci appears on television, but there's a bigger bomb if you fire him. Is there any question that if Donald Trump loses the election on November the 3rd, that he will then try to, in some way, shape, or form, even if he can't, try to dismiss Anthony Fauci?
It doesn't matter.
He'll try to.
It truly doesn't matter. Fauci would be more dangerous to him not in a government position than he would be now.
Wow.
But I don't even think that's such a non-starter. And the fact that he would think out loud and say such things. And
the damage the damage that Donald Trump can do from November 4th till January the 20th has got to be immense. I mean, that's got to be pretty scary.
Yeah, but we got to get to November 4th. You can't talk about it that way. Talk about it that way because then that's going to get people. Well, I don't have to vote. This is in the bag. And you cannot think that way. It
the
is
pardons
not in the bag.
The pardons in and of themselves, the pardons are going to be like the amazing thing to watch if this happens. He'll pardon everybody he possibly. Jeffrey Epstein will get a pardon posthumously. He will try to pardon Jeffrey Epstein posthumously. I swear to God, if he gets beat.
Will John Wilkes Booth get one?
John Wilkes Booth gets a pass. Probably Timothy McVeigh gets one because he was railing against an out of control, huge government. The people who are going to get like in arrears pardoned is going to be absolutely the kid that killed those people in Newtown. He's going to try to pardon that guy posthumously. I mean, everybody's going to get a pardon.
Dylan Root, South Carolina.
Dylan Root, South Carolina. He absolutely he could get pardoned, and they could put him in witness protection immediately. So that in and of itself. But you're right. We have to get to November 3rd. That's the important thing. I think I've heard statistics of 10, 12, 14% of people have already voted of the registered voters. It may be by the time we get to election day, 20% of people may have already voted, right? It could be a huge number.
I think it'll be way more than that.
Wow.
I think you'll have half the votes already in the
that
bag.
Would be amazing. That would be I would like that.
Just my intuition, and I am my best advisor. my intuition says 25% mail-in votes and 25% in-person early voting nationally. And of course, you have to disregard it. It doesn't matter how many early votes in California or New York occur. It
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it's in places like where we are.
Yep.
That it matters, and the turnout looks good. It looks exactly the way we wanted to, and we all just sit here in fear of, are these people successfully lying to every person taking a survey that they haven't compensated for that, and that there are all these people out there. The idea really is to discourage Trump voters from showing up. And who's doing that better than anybody? It's Trump, because he keeps dropping in these little asides. Oh, if I lose, I may have to leave the country. Now, that's really funny. No one says that except someone who thinks he might lose. He's saying that
he's giving a losing vibe all over the place. He goes to rallies now and goes, I can't believe, can you believe this? I'm losing to this guy. Like you said in Wisconsin, he's doing that all over the country. He was saying that, I think, when he was in North Carolina, at least at one of the rallies, like, can you believe it?
All the time. Is that a motivator, or are we missing something? Did Coach Newt Rockne in the Notre Dame locker room in 1924 tell his team, if we don't win, I'm leaving the country? I don't think that.
And that's where he was flying when he was flying to leave the country when he crashed. So if it wouldn't have been for that, he would that whole situation. No, I think there's a thing with this guy, and he's so entitled, and Mary Trump wrote about it very eloquently in her book, is that if he's in trouble, you are supposed to, and you are obligated to rush in and save his ass. That's what people think. That's what his followers think. That's what those idiots that bought into his shit in the cabinet think. Every time he gets into trouble, when he shut down the government, didn't have a way out, it was supposed to be up to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi to give him a lifeline to get him out of the hole. Why? You got yourself into this shit. Why is it up to me to go ahead and pull your ass out? And that's what he's telling his voters right now is, we're in a hole, and God, you need to come save me. It's up to you, because you can't let me be a loser. Because if I'm a loser, you're a loser. I think that's essentially the message that he's sending to those people in Greenville, North Carolina, and Gastonia, North Carolina, and all the other places out in Nevada and everywhere else that he's going.
Well, then the question always comes up with Donald Trump. Donald, who's your daddy? The answer is Fred Trump. Daddy's dead. He's been dead. There's no more money to bail you out. It looks bleak for him, but I put nothing past him. And until proven wrong, we have to hold off on the American people are too smart to fall for it a second time.
Yeah,
It's got to actually happen.
It appears the American people have woken up, or at least enough of them have at this point.
Right. And now he's trying like hell to force through the bullshit Biden crime family title, which, by the way, and we always talk about this. Working. Just when you don't think he could project something more outrageous onto other people that applies to him. He calls Joe Biden and Hunter Biden the Biden crime family, when, of course, we all know it truly is the Trump crime family.
It is.
And multiple children of Donald Trump are truly guilty along with Donald Trump. And isn't it Eric Trump who's being deposed in the state of New York
That's correct.
now
Yeah.
to account for what's been going on in that business while Donald Trump was president? Isn't that the problem?
The dumbest and the derpiest of the Trump children is being deposed. That's right.
Hasn't the Congress, haven't they investigated the Hunter Biden thing twice and come up with nothing?
Nothing burger.
A
big burger? Fat nothing burger.
So if anything feels good right now, it is the unwillingness of, and I'll name the organ because it's so important, the New York Times, to take the bait the way they did 4 years ago over Hillary Clinton's emails and James Comey's non-assertions. And they went with it, and they went hard. And they apologized for it afterward, too late. But they're not falling for it this time.
Right.
They're not going to run unattributed bullshit this time. And Facebook and Twitter have their own issues. I understand that. But if it doesn't bleed into the mainstream press, then I don't think it's going to work this time for them. I don't think so. And just think of the close margins the last time.
Yeah.
Based on that, they were so close. Three states, total of 80,000 votes.
That's right.
Are you telling me we can't come up with 80 to 100,000 votes just in those 3 states? Are you, to swing this election back? I think we can, and I think it is happening. And I think that's what the internal polling is showing.
Yep.
Not just on the Biden side, which, by the way, I think they're being very smart in putting out memo and email and announcement after announcement saying this is not over. Do not rest on whatever laurels are being put out there. Do not fall for the headlines that and all the video of long lines at polling places across America. Think about it. Early voting is what, anywhere from 15 to 20 days, depending on what state it is. And okay, great. The first 2 days or so, the lines were around the corner. People waiting hours. You know that over the next few days, those lines probably will not exist.
Right.
And you have to not allow people to think that whatever surge there was on the first day, because, well, the American people are stupid, and an intelligent person wouldn't run out the first day and stand in line for 5 hours.
But it's not good video if they don't have a line. So if the line is not,
that.
So they can't show that.
An intelligent person,
a
truly intelligent person who intends to vote early would say, I'm going to wait until day 5 or day 6.
Exactly.
There's no way that it makes any sense. My vote doesn't count more if I do it the first day. But when someone puts a mic in your face and they're from NBC or CBS, why are you voting today? And you hear them say, I just couldn't wait. I had to make sure I had it into. You don't want to say, hey, fuck face. It's going to count just as much if you vote on what. You can't do that.
But there are some people that
we can do it here, Britt. Why can we do it here?
Because we're on a podcast.
We're on a podcast.
Well, some people are afraid they're going to drop dead before they have a chance to vote for Joe Biden.
All right, that's a good reason.
I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait till Tuesday because it's Friday now. I think I may die over the weekend. I need to get in line and go do this.
Here's how stupid I think Trump really is, and I know they watch us every day for tips.
They do, and we're happy to help any way that we can.
But if I were him, I would say to everybody, don't vote early because you might want to change your mind. Think about that.
Is that what you would say?
That's what I would say. I would roll the dice that way.
Okay.
Because his adherents, his fans, they're going to vote for him no matter what.
Well, the follow-up question would be, even if I want to vote for you, I shouldn't vote early because I might change my mind, sir?
No. But he's got to bring in people who weren't voting for him at all, who said never. And all he has to do is do one of his teases, his dangles. I've got something coming up. And what's his most repeated amount of time that he's going to have something coming
2
up
weeks,
big?
isn't it?
2 weeks.
It's
2 weeks. You're right.
It's
2
always
weeks.
a fortnight.
That's right. That's right. So, I mean, again, it's fourth down. You're on your own 3-yard line.
Look,
and you have to throw a touchdown pass to win the game. So
when I was talking to the doctor today, well, that vaccine's going to be out before Election Day, so I don't even know why we're sweating this whole COVID thing. I mean, that vaccine's going to be coming around the corner.
But that's the point. That's why I think all he has left is to try to not allow a lead to build up over the next week and a half of early voting that's so big that it can't be overcome on the Election Day. Because remember, he wants to cause chaos and he doesn't want to accept the results.
Of course.
If they do show that, and there's a report today on ABC that inside the Trump campaign, the number one state that they are sweating is this one, North Carolina. And here's why. Because they're really, really worried that on election night, when North Carolina comes in and we're the first large state to report, and because they're counting our votes right now, our early votes, and they're going to have a tabulation pretty early in the evening.
They should.
If the lead is so large that it doesn't appear that turnout can even overcome that lead, so they start to declare North Carolina in Biden's column, they think that that'll end it right there, because that'll be a sign that it's going down. Now again, in actuality, it's a stupid concept, okay? Because just because votes get counted in one state doesn't automatically mean that in another state. But it's
just a bellwether.
But to come at it from the other direction, the worst thing you can do, if you're a Biden fan, if you're a Democrat, if you're a liberal, if you're anti-Trump, if you're a never Trumper, if you fuck Trump, is to think if North Carolina did come in with a big margin, that would mean it's over. Because we do remember 4 years ago, and we do have PTSD on that, and we should have PTSD on that.
But with that also, I also think, does that motivate some folks who don't have the polls closed for an hour or two after we close ours to go out in a Texas or in Arizona, and then they're motivated, oh my God, I wasn't going to vote for Trump, but now I know he needs me. I mean, is that possible too?
We don't know.
Yeah. So you don't, they always say that. This is
I think the state that you really have to worry about the most would be Arizona.
Arizona's a big one.
Because they're I don't know whether they're 2 time zones or 3 time zones different in November or not.
It's going to be, they'll be on Pacific time by November 3rd. Yeah, they'll be 3 hours behind.
Right.
Because they're on Mountain time right now, and then they'll lose an hour and they'll go back to Pacific time.
Right. So with that in mind, Arizona seems to be the swing state in the Western time zone that could be affected by it all. So I don't know. This is a true nail biter, and I like to bite my nails anyway. So this is not helpful to me.
This is some new polling data that USA Today is able to kind of quantify. Biden's still holding a commanding lead nationally, though that's down a little bit from last week, leading in 10 of 12 swing states. Trump regained a slight polling average lead in Ohio and ate a big chunk out of Biden's leads in Pennsylvania and Minnesota. Trump also erased much of Biden's gains in Florida from last week, which some Democrats had hoped signaled their nominee was pulling away in the crucial Sunshine State. So there you go. The national average is 51.9 for Biden, 42.1 for Trump. Last week, it was a little bit like 0.2 of a point better for Biden. So that's about the same. In those swing states, Biden plus 3.8, Biden plus 2.7 in Florida. Georgia is Biden plus 1. Georgia could be another one, Brad, that if Georgia comes in early, and that one may take a while to count, much more even longer than North Carolina, that's another bellwether that if he loses Georgia, it's going to be a bad night for Donald Trump.
Yeah. No, but again, Georgia in particular is just a dreadful, dreadful Confederate state, and still is. And they have specialized in voter suppression.
Sure.
They have specialized in questionable counting of votes. So there is no reason to believe you're going to get any kind of decision on election night out of Georgia. If I would think that Georgia will be one of the last states later in the week to come out. So it's almost as if on election night, and it's impossible to do this, but you really should just go watch all the Godfather movies or do anything else but watch the returns come in. I know, I understand that, but I'm just telling you that there isn't going to be a decision. And the decision that will be made will be by Trump to fake declare victory, which, by the way, remember, Twitter and Facebook have already said we're blocking all that shit. There will be no declarations of victory by anybody.
Well, he can still make a speech and say that he won, and he can lie and say that Biden called him to concede. He can lie and say that. I mean, there's a million things he can say.
Joe Biden has already called from his basement and said it's over. You know what you said is so stupid that it could happen.
I know.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Michigan is Biden plus 7.5. That's, of course, those are the WOMP states, WOMP. It's Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania that are so important. Minnesota, they're averaging at Biden plus 7.8. Nevada is Biden plus 5.9. North Carolina is Biden plus 2.9. Ohio, Trump by the margin of error at a 0.3. Biden looks good in Pennsylvania at 5.5. Texas has Trump at 2.9. Do you hold out much hope that Texas might go blue this time, Brad?
Britt, I don't hold out any hope that any of those states are going to vote for the Democrat.
You don't buy it.
I'm very nervous.
Until it comes into port. Until the ship comes into port. That's how you should play it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Democrats have proven themselves to be to lay on their ass on election day more than Republicans.
Right.
And the enthusiasm gap is still 8 or 10 points higher for Trump's morons to come out on election day. And the people that you may have seen on Saturday, the people I saw come out on Saturday, those are the super motivated people. Those are the super motivated Biden voters that came out, and but they're not everybody. And until this is in the bag, it's not in any bag.
Let's finish up on.
It just isn't.
Let's finish up on this note. Politico with a new report saying that Donald Trump interrupted one of his earliest classified meetings of his presidency to ask top intelligence officials if they would like a milkshake. Does anyone want a malt? Trump reportedly said during the briefing, calling a waiter into the room. We have the best malts. You have to try them. The highly classified briefing, which focused on Afghanistan. By the way, Brad, I hear that that's the longest war that we've ever fought. Are you hearing the same? Are you hearing the same thing? Because that's what I've heard. I don't know. I'm not a bright man. I didn't go to like an Ivy League school.
I disagree. I believe the Civil War is
still being fought. Yes,
that's exactly right. Thank you.
Can we have some of the winning the losing Afghan generals? Can we have their statues flying in the public square for a while? This apparently took place at Trump's New Jersey golf club several months into the presidency. The White House did not immediately respond for comment. Trump has garnered a reputation as a president who has no patience for intelligence briefings. The president reportedly doesn't read the written intelligence reports he's given on a daily basis and prefers to look at visuals, Brad. So he was so bored with them talking about Afghanistan, America's longest war, that he said to everybody, hey, let's grab a milkshake. Are you in any way surprised at all?
Is that a rhetorical question? I'm not answering.
Are you seeing all of these?
We're so far past giving a shit or responding to, or shiny object responding to stupidity and juvenile, off-putting, moronic behavior by Donald Trump. All it does is make me want to ask, how do people support this guy?
Yeah.
How do you justify? How do you sleep at night? What will you tell your grandchildren?
But when you see all of these,
what side were you on? What side were you on?
When you see all of these Republicans who are jumping off the ship now and very publicly trying to distance themselves, like Ben Sass, and you're seeing even John Cornyn to an extent saying that, I don't agree with him and all this stuff. They're jumping ship right now. There's a lot of people that are jumping ship on this guy. They're abandoning this guy, and I think he's got an abandonment complex anyway.
It's not a lot of people. It's not a lot of elected people.
It needs to be more. Few. I think it's going to become more and more as we get toward election day, because they see this guy.
We're getting towards election. It's too late. No. It is too late. The stink is all over you. The shit is dripping all
you can't wash it off
over you. Can't do it. Can't do it. One little note here: when Biden was in North Carolina on Sunday, Cal Cunningham did not appear with him.
Yeah.
So we assume that was a decision by the Biden campaign,
sure,
to distance themselves so that there wouldn't be a picture, of the two of them together.
It's logical.
I haven't seen any of the new polling on Cal Cunningham. They're running that one commercial with that annoying woman over and over and over again.
Hannah from Raleigh, North Carolina, which is completely her name, and she's not an actress. And I know that she just spontaneously got in front of a camera and said those things.
Right.
You're supposed to go to Washington and represent me and my family. It's like so. It's so hokey. It's so trite. It's so played.
Right. See, and think about the subtext here of, and you see these letters to the editor from Republicans in the paper calling Democrats the biggest hypocrites in the world
I do love it
for not abandoning Cal Cunningham when they would attack Donald Trump for his personal foibles and his attitudes towards women. How could you support you are such
a hypocrite, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can live with that one.
Yeah, as the kids say,
definitely live with that.
As the kids say, miss me with that. This may be the one election where where there's a sexual kind of scandal and it doesn't matter. I mean, we may have reached a generational tipping point where this happens. And I think that Gary Hart movie, whatever it was called, The Candidate or whatever it was, I think you can now stream that on Amazon Prime or on Netflix or one of those. I think we've reached the tipping point where there's a sex scandal. It ain't much of a sex scandal, and I don't know that it's going to make a difference in this election.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it is. There are things way bigger than that, and there are things way bigger that are on the line, and I hope it doesn't allow people to get diverted at all as to what Tom Tillis is. And if you want to play the lesser of two evils game, please go ahead. We know who's more evil.
That's true.
We know who is not better for the health of North Carolinians.
That's true.
We know who has been in the tank for Donald Trump for 4 years. And then we have a guy who has an affair with somebody. But you know how they're trying to boost this up and turbocharge it? The military is investigating.
Yeah, I saw the Army Reserve is investigating this shit.
Army Reserve.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. Just hope that Cal doesn't develop a late in life case of bone spurs. That would really be bad. He wouldn't be able to serve on weekends in the reserve or anything like that. But,
that's our show for Monday, everybody.